I'm going to go ahead and just say hi. My name is AJ Watson. This is a part of Local Listens for Jayhawk Jukebox, and I am joined today by Liney Blu.
Hello.
Yay! Hi, Liney.
I am currently based out of Portland, Oregon, though I'm from Kansas City originally, and I went to KU as well.
Yay!
Rock Chalk, Rock Chalk.
Dr. Jayhawk, baby. Okay, so I wanted to kind of like go back in time a little bit. So I have
hmm
to ask, when you were a kid, think like early to mid elementary school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Actually, my girlfriend and I were just talking about this. We talk about it a lot, actually, but because now, especially living out in Oregon, we'll like see them in the wild, and it's so cool. But I went to Colorado when I was like 11, and I always loved music, and so I did believe music would always be a part of my life. But we went to Colorado, my mom and I, and we talked to like wild forest firefighters. That's what I meant to say. And I thought that was the coolest thing, like jumping out of helicopters and like trying to save nature in like the most like dramatic way possible. And so that was like a big one for sure for me. And we see them now. Like we'll go, which is actually really sad in a lot of ways, obviously. Due to like climate change, there's been like a lot of like, you know,
Yeah.
natural disaster type stuff, but they are doing good work, and we'll see them in the wild, and like that is they're like changing the world, like they're helping the world. That's really cool. But yeah, that's my answer. And I always in the back of my mind kind of wanted to be a musician, but ironically in my elementary years I was like, no, that'll be my like plan A. That's
That's
the
cool.
firefighting.
Okay, so musician, like being a musician, music, it was always a part of there. That's good to hear. So we jump to now. Now look at
Mhm.
you. You've got an album released. I think you have like an EP, a couple singles, and like you're also going to be at what's it called? Easy Folk Festival. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, yeah. Easy Folk is actually a program that I'm doing in
Okay,
Portland.
okay.
So it's like a couple of shows, and then there's a festival at the end. But
Okay. What was
yeah,
that? What was that like? You're gonna be a part of that program. Like how was that what was that process and like how do you feel about it? Like
yeah, absolutely. Well, so I mean, in all transparency, like one of the biggest like barriers of moving for me, I've always known I've wanted to move. Um, like at some point in my life from Kansas. But one of the biggest barriers was just like it was really hard, one, to leave my band. Like that was a heartbreak in itself. And I still get to see them sometimes, and I talk to my bassist pretty frequently, um, Renee, um but yeah, I was hesitant about moving. I was hesitant about trying to get into a new scene. I was hesitant about like all of those things that can kind of shift momentum for artists like coming into a new market. And so I went to this open mic night in Portland, and I met this guy named Joe Sanchez, who like he was also a transplant musician, and he is a videographer, and so he started the Easy Folk program to like kind of be a more accessible way for like singer-songwriters to specifically in the folk genre, but like folk umbrella, to have access to other musicians, have access to free video, have access to like we're for the instance this weekend there's like a photo shoot that we're doing that will be like free assets to us. So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, hey, I saw you this is the open mic night. I know you're new to town. You should definitely apply to this. Like, I think you'd be a great applicant and participant in the program. Like, there'll be a couple opportunities to play shows out here, which will get your foot in the door. And then also we'll have a festival like later in the year in September. And not to mention, it's just like a great way to like collaborate with other artists out here, which is like
yeah.
was my number one thing. I was like, I know I can collaborate. I love people and I love people who play music, but um it's just kind of those like mental barriers of like, okay, this is a pretty big move. Can I actually do it? And so this has been really helpful to do that.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
And my family's been supportive of for the most part, of the move. My mom is supportive of everything I do, and she's amazing. Um, but I think it did kind of surprise some people, and and that goes the same with the name change. So I we started like the name change came from our band used to be called Dog Complex, and there was four of us. And long story short, our lead guitarist that he and I kind of started it together, he left the band, and so then it kind of felt weird to keep it Dog Complex. It just didn't feel like the same project, and so we were like, okay, we can go to like just my name or something, and we'll just like, because and they were fine with that. So I'm writing songs, and but then I was like, I don't actually know if I like this though, and so then we were like, okay, well, what can we make it? What can we make it? And Liney was my nickname growing up, and so we were like, well, that's kind of cute. It's got a ring to it. And Blue, I always knew like my actual last name is Bluebaugh, which is not as cute, but Blue is cute, and so we were like, okay, we can make it like Liney Blu, and then that could be like the stage name, and we go from there. And then I started realizing like how much I enjoyed being called Liney from from just going to like playing shows and like people being like, are you Liney, right? And I was like, yeah, like that's actually feeling pretty aligned with me on a more personal level, not just like this is my stage name, I want to go by it, but in like a relating to my identity, it felt a lot more fitting than like Caroline. Like I don't know. I didn't, yeah, didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. And so that's when we changed it, and then I changed my actual name to Liney as well. And so, but support from my family was there. My friends, the band was like, yeah, we'll call you we'll call you Potato if you want. But no, they've been super supportive. Obviously, it's been kind of like sad for all of us, but there's been that support. I even came back, and we had our release show in November, and so yeah, so like that was cool. And then I mean, my family still lives in Kansas City, so anytime that I would be able to come back, I would imagine we'd try to get some stuff going.
So like Green, Pennsylvania Street, Scout, obviously like on your website for one, but then like you've also talked about like there's a lot of like your self-expression and self-discovery in your music. I'm definitely picking up on that, even if you didn't say anything, but you have,
absolutely,
which is great.
Absolutely.
So what has that journey been like, and like how does that relate to like you writing music from time to time, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like it is there. You could not have one without the other. Like, my self-discovery has been found in writing. Like, I think that like music has been my outlet in order to self-discover. So, yeah, like a lot of my writing, especially now, is about like my gender queerness and like just my queer experience as a whole. But especially on Scout, it's that like dove deep into my exploring with my inner child, one, but then also just like with that comes all of this learning about my identity that I've maybe like pushed back. That's what the explanation is about, like which even the explanation has a line, it's like people knew her well as Sweet Caroline. So that was about changing my name to Liney, and people used to know me as Caroline. But yeah, I think, like I said, I don't think one could be here without the other. So yeah, it's been a long journey. And I still think that's how it will always be for me. Because I don't really do it to like get. I don't write for others. I write for myself, and it's really rewarding when other people resonate with it. But it's the the initial is like just to find myself. So
It suits you. Like that style of like self-expression writing for yourself, it suits you. And I feel like because that's how you write, people can relate to it more. Like versus like if you're
yeah,
writing for it to be relatable, then it's like it's not
yeah.
relatable. Everybody has their own journey, but like you can resonate with others. And I certainly have. I just love all your music. You're probably like I listened to you because I met you at Lala, and then
Mhm.
someone else was like, "Oh yeah, they're a musician." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll listen." And I was like, "Where has this been all my life? Where has Liney? Why did no one tell me about this?" I felt offended, but no, but now I just love it. So I'll let you talk now. So
Thank you so much, truly. You've really been like such a like I don't know, a huge supporter, and it means the world to me because that I mean, at this level, it's like people that really connect with it are is some days that's what has to keep you going. And obviously it's within me that keeps me going, but some days it's harder than others.
Same eyes as mine. People knew her well as
but I love the explanation so much. My favorite line, obviously I've talked to you about like some of the lines that I really like that I really relate to, but my
Yeah.
favorite line is when you say, that is not an excuse, it's just an explanation.
Yeah.
And I think that is an incredible line. Like
Thank you.
oh my gosh, I could ask like, does like what does that mean to you? Let me go in depth there. What does that mean? It's not,
Yeah.
it's just an explanation. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, I love this question because like that was kind of the reason I wrote the song. That was like my thesis of the song. My mom always said that to me, growing up, and she would explain to me a lot of the time. Like my mom is amazing. I talk so highly about her, but she's super emotionally intelligent and compassionate. And so I think a lot of like the values and life lessons I have are credited to her. But so she taught me like, you know, people are gonna do bad things. Like people are gonna be kind of like people are gonna make mistakes and do bad things. Honestly, that's actually a lot of like on Scout as well. I'm trying to is about my father, who I've had a complicated relationship with, but we were in talks about all of this, kind of due to like him not being able to be there as much. Um, and then we would talk about why that was. He had some certain things going on in his life, but she would always say to me like that's not an excuse as to why he wasn't, doing X, Y, and Z and not showing up and doing, not mature things. But it is an explanation. Like these things that he went through are explanations as to like why. But we've talked about that kind of that like that lesson with a lot of situations like and she's always taught me very aggressive empathy, I'd say. Um, um, yeah, that's kind of where that came from. Is my mom and I always talking about that, and then I would talk about that with my peers as well, and like my friends of like, um, you know, we don't have to hate that person. Like we can kind of understand where they're coming from. We can hate what like they have how they've hurt us because they've hurt us like in some ways, but we don't have to hate that person. And maybe you know everything that someone does is usually more about them than it is you, but that's not an excuse, that's an explanation. So that's kind of the tie in there.
I love that. I love that. I love
and
that.
then I twisted it and I made it like um yeah, I made it about myself. so egotistical. But no, I made it I made it about myself in the way that like these are the reasons why I hid myself, and that was unfair to me. And so I'm hurting myself, and these are the explanations as to why I did, and that's still not an excuse as to why I hurt myself. But yeah.
That's really freaking amazing. If we're looking like Liney Blu in the future, like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, what do you see yourself with and having done? Like,
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I'd ideally, so now that I'm on the West Coast, I am shooting to put it together like in the next year or two, just doing some mini tours, and 3 to 5 years, I'd say I would love nothing more to have built like a sustainable and hardcore fan base. And even if it's like not that many people, just like a loyal one. And which I think I actually already have done that in some ways. It's but like grow that in a more, and then and also in the 5 years just like be playing some of the festivals that I admire and I like so look up to,
I must say, you do live music really well. I hope
Thank
that
you.
because like one of the biggest scares for me, I love live music. I love live music so much. But the biggest like thing like for fans, I feel like is, oh my God, are they gonna sound as good
Yeah,
on stage as they do online? And it's just like when I heard you at your album release party, congrats on that, by the way, that was amazing.
thank you.
I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like
Thank
no
you.
bias too. I came in with a very like, I was like, I'm not gonna be biased here. I am a critical journalistic student. No bias. And I was like, oh God, they're killing me. They're great.
Oh, thank you. No, yeah, I mean that's where my heart is for sure. And yeah, I mean I want to be playing consistent shows like I was in Kansas City again, because like I love that. That's why that's the and everyone does, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a musician, you want to play.
Do you have any sort of parting advice for like other musicians? Especially like this segment specifically is about local things. So anything localized in Kansas or just general advice
Yeah.
that you'd like to share?
Lawrence is awesome for local musicians. I love Lawrence. I miss Lawrence. I'd say use Lawrence. Take advantage of the beautiful art community that Lawrence is, and it is such a supportive community. If you're a student and you want to start a project, do it. Because and then just start playing wherever you can and ask around if you know people in other bands, like how did they get started, what's a good contact, and we started this project, and like could we maybe play a show at your XYZ place. But just like do it, like do the thing. Like that sounds so like dumb, but I think that is really that's how we did it. Like we just did it. And my friend and I like started playing in the Hashinger practice rooms, and like perfect your craft and work on your craft, and then try to and I would say if you're a writer, sometimes you also need to live in order to write, and that's the best advice I've ever gotten. So
That's great. Great. Thank you so much. This has been so great for me.
No, this has been so fun, and I really appreciate you having me. And yeah,